This is a series of 100 films about Japanese places I've been, and this is a film about how to navigate the busiest train station in the world. Part 3. Ni-chome and Train Lines. Shinjuku is one of the 23 special wards of Tokyo Prefecture in the Kanto region, the area around Tokyo on the island of Honshu in eastern Japan. It's serviced by the Yamanote Line, the Shonan Shinjuku Line, the Saikyo Line, the Chuo Line Rapid Service, the Chuo-Sobu Line Local Service, the Odakyu Odawara Line, the Odakyu Enoshima Line, the Keio Line, the Keio New Line, the Marunouchi Subway Line, the Toei Shinjuku Line, the Toei Oedo Line, and the Seibu Shinjuku Line. Shinjuku has so much going on, there's no way it would fit into only one film. So this is the third and final part. Unlike Kabukicho, not all the eastern part of Shinjuku is dangerous. The third major neighborhood of Shinjuku is the gay and lesbian district. And this is in Ni-chome. This is where there's hundreds of bars devoted to gay men and lesbians. And I want to be upfront, I haven't spent much time in that area, but I have had friends and co-workers who know this place well. Plenty of co-workers at my English company were faithful, heterosexual husbands of Japanese women on weekdays. But on the weekend, they like to go out to gay bars, and this was one of their favorite places. But from what I've gathered, for exclusively gay men, the Japanese scene is very based on type. Dressed the wrong way, that guy will never in 1,000 years want to date you. Yasai. Another thing about Tokyo is that it's basically the San Francisco of Japan. People will leave their small towns and go to Tokyo to be gay. And when these people from the regions, or Chiho, of Japan arrive in Tokyo, it can be a bit overwhelming. There are far too many train lines to keep track of until you've lived in Tokyo for some time. Yasai. Now, lots of people from other places might wonder, well, why don't you just get a car? Well, driving in Tokyo is actually not that bad, especially if you stick to the main roads, but neighborhood streets can be frightening in their layout. The roads are narrow and often you need to rely on mirrors placed at intersections to prevent accidents. There's that. And also, for most places in Tokyo, if they have parking, it's really expensive, easily $8 to $10 or more per hour. On the other hand, you can get most goods delivered to your house by a taxicab or delivery service. And what about the major train lines? Well, you have the Yamanote Line, the main train line. That's the loop line in central Tokyo. The Chuo Line, which is the main central line passing through the center of Tokyo Prefecture. The Sobu Line, it runs parallel to the Chuo Line from Shinjuku to Tokyo Station, then continues along Tokyo Bay through the north part of Chiba Prefecture. Running parallel to the Yamanote Line are the Shonan Shinjuku Line and the Saikyo Line. They act as a rapid service for the Yamanote Line. Several limited express trains to Yamanashi Prefecture depart from Shinjuku as well. These are reserved ticket trains, but travel along normal tracks for places not served by bullet trains. They run faster than the local services and are due to be replaced by a maglev bullet train running at 500 kilometers per hour by 2030. JR, or Japan Railways, was originally operated by the government before it was privatized. Nevertheless, only non-JR lines are called private train lines in Japan. From Shinjuku Station, you have the Keio Line, which runs the Keio Main Line and several small branch lines to western Tokyo, to Mount Takao. There's also the Odakyu Line, one of the most crowded lines that runs one branch to Fujisawa in Shonan on the Pacific coast. The other branch runs as the Odakyu Main Line through the mountains of western Kanagawa to the ocean city of Odawara. Not connected to the main Shinjuku Station complex is the Seibu Line. Its station is a couple of blocks north of the JR Shinjuku Station, and it goes to northwest Tokyo and Tokorozawa before terminating in Honkawagoe in Saitama. And to complicate matters further, there's 3 subway stations. 2 of them are run by the metropolitan government. That's the Toei Shinjuku Line and the Toei Oedo Line. There's also the Tokyo Metro Marunouchi Line, which is a different subway company but goes to more places in central Tokyo than most lines. Both the Oedo and Marunouchi lines act as underground loop lines under the city of Tokyo, but neither have express service. So much of your life, unless you drive a bus or a taxicab or make deliveries, will be spent on these train lines. And most of the train lines leaving central Tokyo operate multiple services. Most start as one train company west or southwest of Tokyo and continue through the subway system as a subway line, then emerge in the north or northeast as a third train line. So it's possible to stay on the same train and travel on 3 different train lines. When you get off, your fare is adjusted at the gate for the distance traveled. Except for the Fukushima line, all subways in Greater Tokyo are local service only, meaning they stop at every station, and this is almost never true of above-ground trains leaving central Tokyo. When you board, the train car looks identical to a subway car, but only one of the trains is a local service train. And the others will have different names like Rapid Service, Special Rapid Service, Commuter Rapid, Express, Semi-Express, Semi-Special Express, or Rapid Acti. In Tokyo, if you get on a train where everybody has an individual comfortable seat, chances are you've boarded either the green car of a Japan Railways train or a limited express service. It means that you have to pay extra on top of the normal train fare. The sole exception to this, I know, is the rapid service of the Keikyu line that goes to Yokosuka. And that isn't every rapid train, just some of them during less busy times. Usually the limited express trains have names, like Romance Car, Homeliner, and the Narita Express. And this is only the case in the Tokyo area. In the regions of Japan, lots of trains give you a seat for no extra charge. Which is confusing if you have a long commute home. Non-local trains will travel a lot faster since they skip a lot of stations, and usually at each stop the train personnel announce the stations they don't stop at just before departure, although they only do this usually in Japanese. Once the train is underway, the announcer will give information about connecting trains at the next station, as well as warnings to not talk on the phone, to not leave personal belongings behind, and to contact police if another passenger tries to molest or touch you inappropriately. These announcements are almost always only in Japanese. How do I get there? From Narita Airport, go to the lower level and board the Narita Express. About 90 minutes later, it stops at Shinjuku Station. As always, remember that this information may be out of date by the time you're watching this. The word of the day. The word of the day is yasai. It means vegetable in Japanese. So if you want to remember this word, feel free to watch this video 10 more times and repeat along with me. Or at least that's what I do. Next time. So that's it until next time when we look at the unpronounceable place royalty send their kids to school. So until then, sayonara.